The space colony on planet Rova 9 was always full of strange sounds and stranger faces. Humans and aliens lived together in uneasy peace, but in Sector 7, deep inside the alien zone, very few humans dared to enter. That place belonged to the Faiwunu, warriors of the Zarnak tribe. One of them was Zara, a tall, sharp-eyed alien girl with silver skin and glowing marks on her face. She was known for her silence, her strength, and for the terrifying beast she kept by her side. His name was Cruel, a giant four-legged monster with dark red scales, black eyes, and claws that could tear metal. Everyone feared him, even the guards, but to Zara, he was just family. One afternoon, Milo, a young human mechanic, walked into the wrong hangar. He was carrying his toolkit and humming a tune. His map glitched, so he didn't know he had entered alien territory. The doors behind him closed with a soft hiss. He looked around and saw a giant cage in the corner. Inside the cage was Cruel, covered in dust, oil and dirt. He looked uncomfortable and tired. Milo didn't know who or what Cruel really was. "Aw, poor thing," Milo whispered. "You need a bath, buddy." He opened his bag and pulled out a cleaning bot. It was a small robot with brushes, foam spray, and a vacuum pipe. He unlocked the cage, not realizing what he was doing. Cruel growled softly but didn't attack. Milo smiled. "Don't worry, this won't hurt." He turned on the cleaning bot, and within seconds, Cruel was covered in white foam and bubbles. The beast let out a strange, confused roar. The bot made happy beeping sounds as it sprayed more soap. Cruel growled again, louder this time, shaking off the foam. His claws scraped the metal floor. Then, suddenly, a sharp alarm blared through the hangar. Red lights flashed. A sensor had detected an open cage in the alien sector. Milo looked up, worried. "Uh-oh," he said. "That's not good." Footsteps echoed from the hallway. Doors slid open fast, and there she was, Zara. Her eyes burned with rage as she saw Cruel, covered in soap, shaking with confusion. She didn't look at anyone else, only at Milo. Her voice was cold and sharp. "Who did this?" Milo stepped back, raising his hands. "I was just trying to help." He looked dirty. Zara walked closer, her face inches from his. "You touched him," she said slowly. "You sprayed him with bubbles." "It was just a bath," Milo said nervously. "He didn't bite me. I thought he liked it." Zara turned away and spoke to Cruel in her language. The beast growled softly, still wiping foam from his eyes. Zara looked back at Milo, her voice deadly calm. "You could have died," she said, "but worse. You disrespected him." More aliens arrived, watching the scene. They expected Zara to attack, but she didn't. She only said one thing to Milo. "Do not come back here again." Milo nodded quickly and grabbed his bot. Backing out of the hangar, as the doors closed behind him, Zara knelt beside Cruel. She touched his face gently, cleaning off the foam with her sleeve. But Cruel growled again, not at her, at something else. His eyes were focused on the walls. Zara followed his gaze. She noticed a small blinking red light, hidden in the corner, a recording device. She stood up slowly, her eyes narrowing. "Someone was watching," she whispered. Later that night, Zara sat in her room, thinking. Her mind kept going back to Milo. He seemed stupid, but kind. He didn't know anything about Zarnak customs or Cruel's history. But how did he even get into Sector 7, and why now, just when Cruel had started acting strange? In the shadows, Cruel growled again. Low and warning, Zara stood, grabbed her blade, and whispered, "Something's wrong." The screen fades to black as a new alarm echoes in the distance. This time, it's not from cleaning bots. It's from the colony's core security system. Something has escaped, and it's headed for the reactor zone. Asterisk darkness surrounded the outer ring of the colony. Only the flashing red lights of the alarm lit the walls. Zara stood on the balcony of her chamber, her blade gripped tight in one hand. The stars above Rova 9 looked peaceful, but her heart was not. Somewhere below her, Cruel was breathing hard, pacing in his cage. He hadn't rested since the soap incident. He growled at the walls, as if hearing something no one else could hear. Zara knew this wasn't about the bath anymore. Someone had planted a recording device. Someone was watching her. But why now? A sharp knock came at her door. One of her tribe guards entered, speaking quickly. "There's been a breach near the reactor core," he said. "Something big got through." Zara didn't ask what it was. She already knew. She looked at Cruel's cage. It was open. She sprinted out, leaping over railings and moving like shadow in the night. No time to alert the council. She had to find Cruel before they did. Meanwhile, in the lower section of the colony, Milo sat in the corner of his dusty workshop, holding an ice pack to his head. He kept replaying the moment Zara looked at him. That stare had more power than any weapon. He didn't hate her. He was fascinated. "She really loves that beast," he whispered. His repair bot beeped, alerting him to the breach alert. "Reactor core zone breach," the bot said. "Danger level red," Milo frowned. "Reactor core? That's not far from here." His fingers tapped nervously on the table. He knew who was down there, or what. He grabbed his toolkit again, this time not for fixing, but for saving. Back in the underzone, Zara arrived silently, her eyes scanning. The dark corridors, burned walls, broken panels, and claw marks told the story. Cruel had passed through, but he wasn't acting like himself. She turned a corner and saw 2 guards lying on the floor, not dead, but unconscious. Cruel could have killed them, but he didn't. Why? Zara whispered a command in her native tongue, hoping he would hear, but no answer came, only silence. Then suddenly, a sound, a low mechanical buzz. She spun around, and there stood Milo, holding a flashlight and breathing hard. "You again," she said coldly. "I think I can help," he said quickly. "I know machines, and I think someone's controlling him." Zara stared at him in disbelief. "Are you saying he's hacked?" Milo nodded. "I think someone did something to him in the lab. I found something strange." Zara looked at him, unsure whether to believe or punch him, but Cruel's life was at stake. She stepped closer. "If you're lying, human, I will not let you speak another word." "I'm not lying," Milo replied. "I saw logs. Someone reprogrammed his collar, maybe testing him." Zara's eyes burned. Her hand tightened on her blade. "How dare they?" she growled. "Cruel is not an object." Just then, a growl echoed from the tunnel. Cruel appeared from the shadows, his eyes glowing unnaturally bright. But he didn't attack. He stood between Milo and Zara, snarling softly, confused and twitching. Zara stepped forward, whispering gently in her tongue. But Cruel roared, not in anger, but in pain. Milo shouted, "It's the collar. It's sending signals. You have to remove it." Zara rushed forward, but Cruel snapped at her, eyes wide with fear. He didn't recognize her, or maybe he was trying to protect her. She hesitated, then threw her blade aside. She raised her hand slowly, letting Cruel see her fully. "Cruel, it's me," she said in a soft, trembling voice. "You know me." The beast paused, his head tilting. Just for a moment, something in his eyes changed. He stepped closer, but suddenly, loud boots echoed from behind. The colony security team arrived, holding stun rifles. They shouted, "Step away from the creature." Zara turned, furious. "No," she yelled. "He's not dangerous, he's sick." The guards didn't listen. They aimed their weapons. Cruel let out a roar. This time in full rage. Zara had no choice. She stood in front of him, arms wide, shouting, "Don't shoot." The screen fades to black as the first shot is fired. Not at Cruel, but at Milo, who had stepped in front to protect both of them. The colony never slept, but tonight it held its breath. Sirens screamed across the sky tunnels, doors slammed shut, lights flickered red, and speakers echoed the same warning. Containment breach, unidentified life form, all civilians to safe zones. But inside the heart of the chaos, Milo lay bleeding on the cold floor. Smoke drifted through the corridor. His toolkit was scattered beside him. One spark had hit him in the side, not fatal, but enough to drop him. Zara knelt beside him, shouting in her language. Cruel roared behind her, his tail smashing against the walls. But something was changing. The beast's breath slowed, his eyes softened. He looked at Milo. Not with rage, but with recognition. "Milo," Zara whispered. "You saved him." Cruel lowered his head and sniffed the wounded human. Then he did something no one expected. He licked his hand gently, like a creature saying thank you. Zara turned to the stunned guards. "Now do you see?" she said. "He's not the monster." But one guard wasn't listening. He hit the emergency button on his wristpad. Cruel's collar lit up red, sending a sharp electric shock through his body. The beast screamed, a sound that shook the walls. He charged forward with unnatural speed. Metal doors bent like paper. Alarms flared again. Cruel was loose. Elsewhere, high above in the security command center, Commander Rex watched the live footage with narrowed eyes. "Shut it down," he barked. "Seal the labs. Lock Sector 7. "But sir," an officer replied, "there's still a civilian down there." Rex didn't flinch. "One human sacrifice is worth the data we'll collect." Behind him, hidden from view, strange scientists whispered, "The beast is responding well, exactly as predicted." Back in the tunnels, Zara pulled Milo to his feet. "You can walk?" she asked. Milo winced but nodded. "Yeah, I've had worse, I think. We have to follow Cruel," she said, "before they kill him." Milo looked confused. "Why are they doing this? Who would control your pet?" Zara didn't answer right away. Instead, she led him down a secret vent, a narrow path only her people used. As they moved through the shadows, Milo whispered, "This is all because I gave him a bath." Zara almost laughed, but her voice stayed bitter. "No, this started before you came. I just didn't see it." They reached a control room that had been hidden under old reactor tunnels. Inside were stolen logs, illegal blueprints, and a frozen screen showing Project Harmony. Milo read the words slowly. "Behavior control through modified DNA." Zara's fists clenched. "They took Cruel from me when he was young, said it was routine training. They lied." Milo stepped closer to the terminal. "Someone has remote access to his collar. I can try to block it, but I need a secure link." Zara opened her wristpad and connected the link. "Do it fast," she said, "because if they kill him, this colony burns." Meanwhile, Cruel tore through the reactor zone. But he didn't attack people. He smashed cameras, broke sensors, crushed drones, as if he knew they were watching. He was not just angry, he was aware. He stopped near the main reactor core. Panting, surrounded by laser traps, he looked up. Cameras stared back at him, and deep inside the lab, the scientists watched with cold smiles. "Begin final test." One of them said, "Let's see if he turns on his own." They activated the full override. Cruel's collar turned blue, eyes glowing again, claws twitching. But then, the collar sparked. "Shut down." Back in the tunnel, Milo cheered. "Got it." Zara smiled for the first time. "Cruel is free." Suddenly, loud footsteps approached. More guards, more weapons. Zara looked at Milo. "We can't fight them here." Milo pointed to a side hatch. "There's an old waste chute. It leads outside." Zara hesitated, but nodded. They ran, diving through the narrow chute just as laser blasts filled the air behind them. They slid into darkness, metal groaning as they fell deeper into the planet's old tunnels. Zara's voice echoed through the dark. "This isn't just about a pet," she said. "It's war." The screen fades as Cruel howls once more. This time, the colony listens, asterisk in the darkest part of the colony, where no sunlight ever reached. There was a hidden room, cold, silent, untouched by time. It wasn't on any map. No engineer had built it. No alien had claimed it. It was a lab, and inside that lab, something lived. Not Cruel, not human, but something in between, on the far wall. Glowing green letters pulsed. Project Harmony, subject -2 status. Waiting, a pod hissed open. Steam rising around it. And inside, eyes opened. Meanwhile, deep underground in an abandoned waste tunnel, Zara walked slowly beside Milo, who limped from the injury. Cruel followed close, silent but alert. His collar was off now, wires torn. Blinking weakly in Zara's bag, they stopped near a broken console covered in dust. Milo brushed it off and looked at Zara. "We need answers," he said. "Not just escape." Zara nodded. "They turned him into something else," she whispered. "But I think he's not the only one." Milo's hands flew over the console keys. Old files flickered. On the cracked screen, hidden footage, lab reports, voice logs, one video opened. A human scientist stared into the camera, her voice low and serious. "We thought we could build peace through control," she said, "by changing what cannot be tamed." Cruel stared at the screen, growling. Another log began, this one, dated before Zara even joined the colony. It showed a young Cruel, strapped to a table, humans inserting wires into his neck. Zara looked away, her jaw clenched. "He was a child," she said, "and they did this." Milo sat back slowly. This whole colony was a test site. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the tunnel. "Well done," it said. "You finally found the truth." A figure stepped from the shadows, wearing a black coat with a glowing badge, Central Authority. Zara raised her blade. Instantly, the man smiled. "Easy," he said. "I'm not here to fight. I'm here to offer you a deal." "What kind of deal?" Milo asked. Eyes narrowed. The man looked at Cruel, then at Zara. "He is not the only hybrid," he said. "There are others, and one of them just woke up." Zara froze. "What do you mean, others?" "The experiment wasn't about control," the man continued. "It was about replacement." "Replacement?" Milo repeated. "Of what?" The man stepped closer. "Of your kind, of hers, of all kinds," he said. "One species, blended, programmable, loyal." Zara's voice was ice. "You're building slaves." "No," the man replied. "We're building peace." Cruel roared suddenly, stepping forward. The man pressed a button on his wrist. A drone dropped from the ceiling, shining a red laser on the beast, but before it could fire, Zara sliced the drone in half with a single swing. The man didn't move. "You can't stop it," he said. "It's already begun. Subject 02 is awake, and it's not like your pet." He tossed a data chip on the ground. "Go ahead," he said. "See what's coming." Then he turned and vanished into the dark. No sound, no echo. Zara picked up the chip, her fingers tight. Milo plugged it into his device. A hologram flickered to life. A new creature appeared, larger than Cruel, faster armored. But the most terrifying part, it had Zarnak eyes and human hands. It was Subject 02. And it was moving. "Where is this?" Milo asked. Zara looked at the file name, Containment. "Site, Omega Wing. That's in the ice fields," she whispered. Beyond the colony walls, outside, the storm was building. Blades of wind tore across the metal roofs. The sky glowed orange with static energy. Zara stepped forward, her voice cold. "We go to Omega Wing." Milo looked up at her, surprised. "You want to fight this thing?" Zara didn't blink. "No," she said. "I want to find out if it's still a creature, or if it's already something else." Cruel let out a deep growl, not in fear, but in agreement, as they walked toward the old cargo lift that led to the frozen surface. Zara whispered something in her own language. Milo looked at her, confused. "What did you say?" he asked. She looked at him with fire in her eyes. "I said," she replied, "this isn't about saving Cruel anymore. It's about saving what makes us real." The lift shook as it began to rise. Snow slammed against the sides. The wind howled like a warning. Up above, in the ice fields, something moved. Fast, powerful, and watching. No alarms, no voices, no growls. Just the hum of an ancient lift rising through ice and metal. Milo stood near the gate, eyes wide, breath fogging in the cold. Beside him, Zara remained still, staring straight ahead. Cruel crouched low, tense, tail swaying slowly like a ticking clock. They were heading to Omega Wing. A place erased from most maps, sealed by command decades ago. But now it waited, alive again. Because Subject 02 was awake. As they stepped out onto the frozen platform, icy winds whipped around them. The field was endless white, broken only by black towers jutting out of the ground like bones. Zara scanned the horizon. There, she said, pointing toward a half-buried facility. That's the lab. They moved fast, careful, avoiding old drones frozen in snow like statues. Milo tripped once, landing face first. Zara pulled him up, chuckling softly. Humans are not built for this, she said. No, Milo replied, brushing off snow. We're built for warm beds and bad ideas, she smiled for just a second. But it faded fast. Something wasn't right. The entrance to the lab was open. Not broken, open. Like someone had invited them in. Zara raised her blade. Cruel growled. Milo stepped back. Should we? Maybe knock, he said, trying to lighten the mood. Inside, lights flickered, casting long shadows across the walls. Symbols were scratched everywhere. Zarnak runes and human tech codes merged into one language, and then a voice echoed through the chamber. Welcome home, Zara. She froze. That voice, she knew it, from the darkness. A figure stepped forward, wearing silver armor with glowing blue veins. His face Zarnak, but his body enhanced, unnatural. It was Tevros, Zara's older brother, lost in war 5 years ago. You're supposed to be dead, Zara said coldly. I was, Tavros replied, stepping closer. Until they rebuilt me, Milo watched, stunned. Cruel growled louder, his body shaking. Tavros raised a hand. Easy, beast, he said. We share the same blood now. Zara stood tall, voice trembling. You became part of the experiment. I became the future. Tavros replied. And so will you, he pointed at Milo. But first, the human leaves. Milo took a step back. Wait, what? Zara moved in front of him, blade drawn. No, she said. He stays. Tavros narrowed his eyes. You're protecting him, he said. A weak species that bathes beasts and breaks protocols. He saved Cruel, Zara shot back. And he saved me, Tavros laughed, the sound cold and mechanical. You've grown soft, he said. You forget who we are. Zara's voice turned sharp. No, I remember exactly who we are, and we do not become machines for someone else's peace. Suddenly, doors slammed shut behind them. Traps activated. Alarms flashed red. Tavros raised his wrist. Dozens of mechanical beasts stepped out of the shadows. Each one had human eyes and Zarnak skin. Cruel roared, leaping between them and the threat. Milo pulled out a device. I can shut down the core, he shouted. Give me time. Zara nodded. Do it, she said. We'll hold them. The fight began. Cruel charged the first wave, claws slashing metal like paper. Zara moved like wind, slicing clean through the enemy. Tavros watched, not moving, just smiling. Then, without warning, he pressed a button. Cruel froze mid-swing. His body twitched. His old collar, still active somewhere in the lab, was sending a signal. Zara screamed. No, Tavros laughed. Your beast still obeys the old command line, he said. He is mine now, Cruel roared. Torn between rage and control, Milo worked fast, fingers flying across the code panel. I need 30 seconds, he shouted. Zara ran toward Cruel, calling his name. Cruel. Fight it, you are not a tool. Cruel trembled, eyes glowing red. Claws lifted, aimed at her. Zara didn't raise her weapon. She dropped it and stepped closer. Then strike me, she said. If you are truly not mine. Cruel roared and turned, not at her, but at the control tower above them. He leapt, claws tearing through the wires, destroying the collar signal source. Sparks flew. Tavros screamed. Milo hit the final button. The core shut down. The machines dropped lifeless to the floor. Silence returned. Only Zara's breath and Cruel's deep growl remained. She looked at her brother, fallen, broken. Tavros coughed, blood on his lips. You chose them, he whispered. Zara kneeled beside him. I chose freedom. She replied. Outside, the storm had passed, but nothing would ever be the same. Cruel walked beside Zara and Milo as they left the ruins of Omega Wing. In the sky, new ships appeared, not from the colony, but from someone else. Another player was watching, waiting. Asterisk, not with thunder, but with flame. A ship burst through the clouds, black and silent, no lights, no name. It moved like a shadow over Omega Wing's ruins, unseen by most, but not by Cruel. He stopped mid-step, his claws digging into the snow. A deep growl rumbled in his throat, not from anger, but from memory. Zara noticed. Turning toward him, "What is it?" she asked. Cruel didn't answer. He simply stared at the ship as it disappeared into the clouds. Milo leaned against a broken wall, catching his breath. His coat was torn, his cheek bruised, but he was alive. "Tell me we're going home now," he muttered. Zara said nothing. She picked up a shard of metal from Tarvus's fallen body. It had a symbol, unfamiliar and old. 3 circles linked by one chain. It wasn't Zarnak, and it wasn't human. They were watching him, she said, and now they're watching us. Cruel growled again, louder. Zara placed a hand on his neck. "I know," she whispered. "I feel it too." They returned to the colony just before sunrise, but nothing felt like before. The gates opened slowly, scanning them inside. People stared, some in fear, some in silence. Cruel walked tall beside Zara, no collar, no cage. Milo followed, limping, dragging a heavy bag of recovered data. The council was waiting, cold eyes, folded arms. Commander Rex stepped forward. "You left without permission," he said. "You brought back a rogue beast and illegal files." Zara dropped the bag at his feet. "I brought you the truth," she said. "What you do with it decides your future." Rex looked inside. Files, DNA maps, recordings of Tavros. He waved to the guards. "Take the alien to holding," he ordered. "And detain the beast." Cruel growled, his eyes flashing. Zara didn't move, but Milo stepped forward. "No," he said. "You don't understand. This isn't just some alien threat. This colony was part of a larger experiment." Rex stepped closer, face stiff. "We've kept peace for 12 years, and we won't let it break now." "Peace built on lies isn't peace," Milo replied. Rex nodded, and the guards raised their weapons. Cruel roared so loud the windows shook. People screamed, stepping back. Zara raised her voice, calm and powerful. "Stand down, Cruel." But this time, he didn't. This time, he stepped forward. His body changed, not in shape, but in energy. His scars glowed red, the ones from the lab. Something inside him woke up. Zara's heart pounded. "No," she whispered. "Not again." Then it happened. The rage inside Cruel exploded. Not just anger, but years of pain, silence, and control. He charged the guards, knocking them aside like dust. He didn't kill, but he made it clear. No cage would hold him again. The crowd screamed, running in every direction. Zara ran after him, calling his name. "Cruel, stop," she shouted. "This isn't who you are." But Cruel didn't stop. He broke through the outer gate and vanished into the forest beyond the colony walls. Hours later, the colony was silent. No one spoke, no one chased, except Zara. She stood at the edge of the trees, Milo beside her. "We can still find him," Milo said. Zara stared into the woods. "I have to," she said. "He saved me from Tavros." "But who saves him?" Milo asked. "Far away, deep inside the forest." Cruel rested under a black tree, his breath heavy, his eyes dim. He looked at the sky. That same ship hovered silently above the clouds, and from it, something descended, something fast, metallic, and shaped like him. Cruel rose to his feet, his rage fading into something deeper. Not fear, not fury, but knowing. He wasn't the only beast anymore. He wasn't even the first. The forest never echoed, not even with a roar, but tonight, the wind carried a sound not heard before. Not beast, not machine, It was the sound of something waking up. Zara stood at the edge of the trees, her boots sinking in soft soil. Behind her, the colony grew smaller and colder. Ahead of her, the forest stretched forever. But she didn't look back. Beside her walked Milo, quiet and thoughtful. In his hand was a tracking device, blinking softly, pulsing in rhythm with a heartbeat. That wasn't his. Cruel's still alive, he whispered, and he's not alone. Zara nodded. I know, she said. I can feel it too. They moved deeper into the wild. Where signals died and maps failed, they passed ruins, broken pods, shattered drones, half-buried bones of creatures that never made it. Zara touched one metal panel covered in moss, 3 circles, connected by a chain. Again that symbol. It wasn't just our colony, Milo said. Was a testing ground. Zara's voice turned to ice. How many more did they build? After hours of walking, they reached a wide-open clearing, and in the center stood Cruel. But he was different now, taller, his scales marked with glowing lines. He stood beside another beast, slightly smaller, with silver plating and human-like fingers. Its eyes scanned Zara and Milo without blinking. Zara stepped forward. Cruel, she called. He turned slowly, his eyes calm, no rage, no fear. He took one step forward and stopped. The second beast moved beside him. Defensive, Milo whispered. They're linked. Zara looked between them. What is this? She asked, her voice low. Why did you leave? Cruel let out a soft growl, not as a warning, but as an answer. Zara stepped closer, her voice cracking. You were always more than a weapon, she said. I see that now. Cruel stepped aside, revealing something behind him, a small group. 5 other creatures, each one different. Zarnak forms with human features, hybrids of forgotten projects. Eyes glowing, watching, not attacking. Milo's device beeped faster. These aren't failed experiments, he whispered. They're survivors. Then a voice came, not from the forest, but the sky, speakers hidden in clouds. Zara of Zarnak, the voice echoed. This is Central Authority. You are in restricted territory. You will return the hybrid assets immediately. Zara looked at the creatures, then up at the sky. Her voice cut through the wind. No, she said. They don't belong to you. A pause then. So you choose exile. Zara smiled sadly. I choose truth. Suddenly, fire dropped from the clouds. Not lightning, not warning, but missiles. The ground shook as explosions hit the edges of the forest. Trees shattered, beasts roared. Milo ducked and screamed. Zara turned to Cruel. Get them to safety, she shouted. Now. Cruel howled and led the other hybrids into the forest, fast and silent. Milo grabbed Zara's hand, pulling her behind a thick root. They'll kill us to bury the truth, he said. Zara didn't flinch. Then we bury them first, she replied. Far away, in a mountain cave, Cruel led the group into shelter. He turned back only once, eyes meeting the smoke rising from the trees. He let out a long, deep growl, not of pain, but of promise. Days later, no one in the colony spoke Zara's name. The council said she vanished, that the beast escaped. But stories spread, whispered between guards, workers, even children. They said there was a girl in the woods, leading creatures no one could control. They said her beast walked beside her, not as a pet, not as a weapon, but as a brother. And they said that one day, when the lies grew too big, when the chains reached too far, she would return, not alone. In the deepest chamber of the old lab, a backup pod powered on. Its screen blinked once, then twice.